I can already, like, I get this kind of tingly sense that this is gonna be great. If you're not vibing when already the bass line is in place, the melody is in place, then it just scratch it, right? Like, we don't throw ideas away enough, I feel. Like, often you should just get into the habit of creating and not saving your ideas, because if you're holding on to them, it can really slow you down sometimes. Hi everybody, this is Gregor. I'm a music producer based in Germany. You might know me from many of the Studio One Pro tutorials that I've done. I've been working as a ghostwriter for mostly electronic music records, bands that are a bit more like my haircut. And so I thought we could maybe do a little bit of 80s music. And the only thing that I have prepared for this is this retro drum kit that you see right here. I guess we would have to tap a tempo first. So I'm thinking like something like dun, 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 ba-da, psh, dun, 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 dun. And now that I've done that, you can see Studio One actually adjusted the BPM to 104. And then I like to just enable the metronome, hit start. If I like that as a starting point, what we traditionally did is do it again, right? That was cool, do it again. But why should we do that when we could just recall what we did and play that? And I have some really cool Peter Gabriel style toms. Right? I mean, that's super 80s, right? Something like that. So now I'm gonna take out a few of the things that we added here so that we really just start with some kind of a kick drum. This is where auto zoom comes into play. Auto zoom basically means that the notes in your piano roll or your drum editor are always adjusted based on the available screen space. Then there's this old German techno rule that you should add like 2 elements every 2 bars to stay interesting, to keep things moving. Okay. Something like that. And then I just recall again what I just did. There's no reason to do it again. Yeah, I think it's gonna work. As a next step, we need a little bit of the bread and butter, which is gonna be strings, something lush, like synth lead sounds. And here I really like to get inspired by Splice, where you make a selection of sound and you use that as a search reference, and it's gonna find like matching samples from real humans that are matching your time signature, your key signature, your vibe, your genre. And to me, that is really like the kind of use of AI that I get excited about. You can really think of this as Google image search in a way, where you drag a screenshot, and it finds matching images. This is what I do with sound. So it's gonna find matching sounds when I do that. It's quite sophisticated what's happening here in the background. It's kind of rendering the whole thing down into an MP3, which I can pre-audition. But then it's gonna make suggestions based on that, and I can filter these down. But let's see what Splice thinks is a good fit. This is cool. And I can literally just drag and drop that into the song. It's gonna download from the Splice website and it's ready to use. And that's quite remarkable because normally you cannot audition in context, right? Splice is like a third-party website. And so you can pre-audition the samples there, but you don't hear your song at the same time. So how do you know if that's a fit? And here it's even transposed to the key that I have set. I mean, the original is E minor, but I am in D minor. And yeah, all of that is already taken care of. I think it's a little bit too slow and too legato. So what I often do is I chop this up into 16th notes. I have like a keyboard shortcut for that. And then I make small fades to make it a bit more moving and interesting. And also to make that sample mine. I don't like to use samples as they are. I really want to treat them as a starting point for my own creativity. Let me show you what I mean. And And now this is a little bit choppy. I just bounced that into a new clip. But I think this can really work if I combine that with a little bit of a nice reverb. Maybe like this. When you have a massive reverb like that on a staccato, like notes with short decay, you really need to make sure that this reverb is ducked and not getting out of control. So that's why I really like to use a compressor on these kind of reverbs, but only when another signal is coming in, like the fresh new stab. So that you can assign with a sidechain, just like that. You can say, whenever this synth lead is coming in, duck down the reverb so it doesn't get out of control. So now we can go back to Splice, because this is a very bi-directional thing. Splice gives us an idea and we create something with that idea, and then we throw that updated idea back into Splice. Wow! I usually don't like taking the very first idea that it throws at me, but I mean, if it fits, it fits, I would also like to try a vocal sample, and these vocal samples I really like to load into a sampler to play my own kind of melodies with it. For example, that's a great one. So this is like a very short vocal. You can't really play a progression with that, but then I can just put that into my session anyway, take a sampler like sample 1 right here, and then drag and drop this vocal sample in there. And now I can play my own melodies with this. So it can either be with note repeat like that, but it could also be legato. With a bit of reverb, that can sound really, really cool. Perfect. Really, really cool. I like that a lot. Suddenly you realize that this loop is becoming a song, right? That's always a very exciting bit in the process when you realize, oh, this loop, this kind of sample idea could actually become a real song that could mean something to people. I can't stress enough how important it is to have these carvers, like this canvas in place, right? Because then, like when it comes to arranging, you could literally just double that and already build out the song structure, in the sense that you can say, okay, I probably need 4 or 8 bars of some kind of intro, right? So I could already kind of draw that in here just to see the end goal, right? And then it would probably be verse, chorus. Then we need some kind of bridge, right? That's probably like 6 or 8 bars long. And then most likely we're gonna go into the second verse, which is gonna be similar to the first with a few elements added. From there, we're gonna go into the next chorus. Maybe that's gonna go into the super chorus with even more stuff going on. And from there, into the outro. And so these two very rough loops that are so separate from each other have turned into a timeline with a total length of like 3.5 minutes. And I need to bring this in like very softly, maybe with a reverse reverb effect. And I basically just bounce a little bit of audio here. And to that, I want to apply this reverse reverb effect, which almost serves like an introduction.